Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into something I think pretty much everyone learning English runs into.
Oh, absolutely. It's that feeling, isn't it? You're listening, maybe watching TV, and you know the words separately,
Yeah.
but when a native speaker says them at normal speed, it just sort of washes over you, like one long sound.
Exactly. It feels so fast. And
Yeah.
then the other side of it, when you speak, you know your grammar's okay, pronunciation's decent, but it feels, I don't know, a bit stiff
Mm-hmm.
or maybe robotic. It's
Yeah.
not like that smooth flow you hear.
You've absolutely nailed it. And honestly, if that sounds familiar to you, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge, huge hurdle.
Right.
And it's usually not about, needing more words or fixing big grammar errors. It's that natural spoken English just plays by slightly different rules than the English in textbooks.
It really is like a hidden layer. They connect words, shorten sounds, use rhythm.
Yeah.
It's got its own kind of music.
Totally. And our ears aren't automatically tuned to that music. We spend ages on reading, writing, grammar, all the essential stuff. But the actual sound of spontaneous speech with all these connections and shortcuts, that takes specific practice to pick up.
But here's the good news, right? This stuff is learnable. You can train your ears to catch those fast bits, and you can learn ways to make your own speaking sound more natural and confident.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've looked at some really helpful sources that break down how native speakers do this. We'll cover why they connect words and use reductions,
Okay.
how listening for the key words helps you understand, and a really powerful method for training your ears called shadowing.
Ooh, shadowing. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And then we'll switch gears.
Yep. Then we'll look at how you can use these things yourself. Things like English rhythm, using contractions and reductions when you speak, how even filler words can help. And something really cool, how just stressing a different word can totally change what you mean.
Okay, I'm ready. This sounds incredibly useful.
Get ready to maybe hear English a little differently after this. Let's get into these sources. All right. So first up, understanding. Why does English sometimes sound like it's on fast forward?
Mm-hmm.
The big reason our sources point to is, well, native speakers don't usually talk like this, word by word.
No way. It's all connected. Words flow into each other. You see spaces when you read, right?
Yeah.
But when you listen, those spaces often just disappear.
Right.
Or the sounds blend right across the word boundaries. It's smoother.
And the classic example, the one everyone uses is, what do you want to do?
Right. Said slowly, it's what do you want to do? Perfectly clear. But you almost never hear it quite like that in a casual chat.
Never. It morphs into something like, what I want to do.
See? Totally different sound. What do you squishes together into what-a, and want to blends into wanna. It sounds faster, but it's really just those sounds linking up and changing a bit. Your ear has to learn to recognize what-a as what do you.
Okay, so let's unpack a few more common ones from the sources, like asking, did you eat?
Yeah, instead of a clear did you, that dade and yi sound often smushed together. Makes kind of a J sound.
So it comes out like,
But eat.
did you eat? Okay, I hear that all the time. Or what about, I don't know, that one's everywhere.
Oh, definitely. You almost never hear I do not. It's pretty much always reduced. I don't know. That's probably one of the most common reductions you'll ever hear. I don't know.
Right, and future plans, like I am going to go.
That gets hit twice. I am contracts to I am, and going to reduces to gonna, so the whole thing becomes
Much shorter, much smoother.
Exactly. So a massive key to understanding faster speech isn't about processing every single sound faster. It's training your ear to hear these chunks to instantly know did ya means did you, I don't know, means I don't know. Gonna means going to.
It's like learning common phrases, but on a sound level.
Precisely. Once you recognize these patterns, spoken English starts to feel less like a blur and more like, actual speech.
And speaking of those shortcuts, that leads right into reductions and contractions more generally. Another huge reason spoken English sounds the way it does.
Absolutely. Reductions are where sounds get dropped or words get seriously squished together. They are everywhere in natural conversation.
Our sources highlighted some of the big ones, the ones you just have to know. We mentioned want to becoming wanna.
Yep. I want to get some lunch. You hear it constantly.
And going to becoming got to.
Got to. Yeah.
Often turns into gotta.
I gotta head out soon.
We talked about, I don't know, turning into, I don't know. That's almost automatic for native speakers.
And a couple more really frequent ones. Let me very often becomes let me.
Like, let me see that.
Exactly. And give me becomes gimme.
Give me a hand with this.
Yeah. And this is where learners can get tripped up, right? If your ear is listening for, let me help you, spoken clearly,
Right.
but what you actually hear is, let me help ya. It might just sound like noise if you haven't learned to decode that shortcut. You know the words, but not that connected sound.
So you really have to actively listen out for these. Train your ear to expect wanna, gonna, gotta, let me, gimme.
Yes. The more familiar they become, the less fast English seems, because you're recognizing the shorthand instantly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it connects to the next point, which honestly was a bit of a relief for me to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You don't actually need to understand every single word.
Oh, such a crucial point. We put so much pressure on ourselves thinking we need 100% comprehension of every syllable,
Yeah.
but native speakers don't even do that, not consciously. Our brains are wired to latch on to the important words, the ones carrying the main message.
Like the nouns, main verbs, adjectives.
Exactly, the content words, the little connecting words, articles, prepositions, helper verbs. They're often unstressed, said super quickly, or even reduced because they're more about grammar than the core meaning.
Okay, so let's try an example from the sources. Listen to this sentence and just notice which words kind of pop out. I was thinking about calling you yesterday.
You naturally hear that emphasis land on thinking, calling, and yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you kind of miss the was or about, or you slid by quickly, catching those three stressed words gives you the whole picture.
Yeah.
Thinking, calling, yesterday. They're like the pillars of the sentence.
Here's another one. She's probably going to be late for the meeting.
Again, in natural speech, the stress hits probably, late, and meeting.
Right.
If you catch just those, you've got the core message. Probably, late, meeting, you understand the situation.
And this is exactly how we listen in our own native language. We just don't think about it.
We don't. Our brain does it automatically. So the trick is to consciously apply that same strategy to English. Try to tune into those stressed words, the peaks in the sound wave, rather than straining to catch every single tiny word in between. It can really lower the stress of listening.
Okay, so we've got the theory. Connected speech, reductions, focusing on stressed words.
Yeah.
But how do we actually, train our ears to do this better? What's the practical step?
This is where a technique called shadowing comes in. And our sources really emphasize this as, like, a powerhouse exercise for tuning your ear to natural speed.
Shadowing. Okay, how does that work exactly?
It's pretty simple in concept, though maybe a little weird feeling at first. You listen to a native speaker, and you speak along with them at almost the exact same time, like you're their shadow or their echo.
Ah, okay. So not repeating after them, but with them.
Yeah, or just a tiny fraction of a second behind. You're trying to match everything.
Yeah.
Their pronunciation, their speed, their rhythm, the way they link words, everything.
And why does that work so well?
Because it kind of bypasses your analytical brain. You're not stopping to think about grammar or vocabulary. You're purely focused on mimicking the sound.
Ah, I see.
This forces your brain to process the English at its natural speed and, crucially, helps you internalize those connections and reductions as they happen in real time.
Okay, so the sources gave a step-by-step guide.
Yep, pretty straightforward. First, find a short audio clip, something authentic, TV show, YouTube, podcast snippet, an interview. Just a minute or two is fine.
Okay.
Second, listen once, just for the general gist. Don't worry about details yet. Third, play it again. And this time, speak along with the speaker, right on their heels. Really try to match their sound, speed, and rhythm.
And the key is?
The key is not to say each word separately and clearly. Try to copy the flow, the way the words blend together, the reductions you hear. You're mimicking the music of it.
Okay, let's try a few examples together. We'll say it slowly, then the natural way, break it down, and then maybe you listening can try shadowing the natural version right after us.
Sounds good. Example 1. Just a casual question, slow version. Hey, what are you doing this weekend?
Okay, now natural speed. Hey, what are you doing this weekend?
Big difference, right. The breakdown, what are you becomes whataya, and doing often loses that G sound, becoming doing.
All right, listen to that natural speed again and try to repeat right after me, mimicking the sound. Hey, what are you doing this weekend?
Go on, give it a try. Short pause. Okay, example 2. Asking for help. Slow. Can you help me with this?
Natural speed. Can you help me with this?
So here, can you often reduces to a quick kanya, and help me kind of links together. The P sound might be soft, so it sounds almost like help me.
Okay, listen again and shadow the natural speed. Can help me with this.
Your turn. Try to catch that. Can you help me flow? Short pause.
Nice. Example 3. Expressing surprise. slow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Natural speed, this offer sounds like. I don't know that.
Wow. Breakdown.
Didn't can reduce right down, sometimes sounding like done. And know that connects. The W sound might disappear, making it sound like know that.
Okay, listen and shadow this one. I know that.
Give it a go. Short pause. It feels a bit strange at first, doesn't it? Almost like you're interrupting or talking over them.
Yeah, definitely takes getting used to.
But that's kind of the point. It forces you out of analysis mode and into pure sound mimicry.
Okay, one last quick drill. Straight into natural speed. Listen and shadow. What are you going to do later?
That's got a couple in there. What do you becomes what I.
Right.
And going to becomes gonna.
Okay, listen again. Try shadowing the whole thing. What are you going to do later?
Short pause.
Awesome. Doing that consistently, even just for 5 minutes a day, our sources suggest, is probably one of the best ways to tune your ear to real, natural speed English. It really works.
Totally agree. It's like weightlifting for your ears. Builds that processing muscle.
Okay, so we spent a good amount of time on training your ears to understand. Now let's flip it. How can you start to sound more natural when you speak English?
Yeah, because understanding is half the battle, but producing that natural sound yourself is the other half. It's more than just correct grammar and vocab, isn't it?
Definitely. It's that flow, that musicality that makes someone sound, I don't know, comfortable and confident in the language.
And a huge part of that music is rhythm and intonation. English, as the sources point out, isn't flat. It doesn't give equal weight to every syllable or word.
No, it's got that up and down quality, like a song, right?
Yeah.
Strong beats and weaker beats.
Exactly. Some words get stressed, they're louder, longer, maybe higher pitched because they carry the important information.
And the other words.
The function words, the grammatical glue, they get unstressed. Said quickly, softly, often reduced. They're the weak beats.
If you say everything with the same force, well, it sounds unnatural. Like this, I really wanted to go, but I was too busy.
Yeah, that just sounds off. Like a text-to-speech voice from years ago.
Right. Now, hear the difference with natural rhythm. I really wanted to go, but I was too busy.
See how wanted and too busy just pop? Those are the key ideas, so they get the stress. The little words really too, but I was. They get squeezed in between.
Okay, let's try practicing that stress. Listen and repeat after me, focusing on hitting the stressed word. I can't believe it. Stress is on can't.
Your turn. I can't believe it. Short pause. Good. Another one. That's a great idea. Stress on great.
Listen and repeat. That's a great idea. Short pause.
Getting a feel for this stress pattern, this rhythm, it adds so much life and makes you sound way more natural.
And building right on that rhythm. Let's circle back to contractions and reductions, but now thinking about actually using them when you speak.
Yes. This is such a common thing learners avoid, maybe because they feel it's too informal, or they were taught to always speak in full sentences.
Right, like it's somehow improper.
But in everyday spoken English, not using contractions like I'm or don't, or reductions like gonna and wanna, actually makes you sound, well, a bit stiff.
Oh.
Overly formal.
It really does stand out. Saying, I am going to call her is grammatically perfect, of course.
Sure.
But saying, I'm going to call her just sounds so much more normal, like how people actually talk.
Let's quickly revisit some of those key ones, but focus on saying them yourself. Instead of, I do not know, practice making, I don't know, feel natural. Instead of, give me a second, try saying, give me a sec.
Give me a sec.
Instead of, let me think, try, let me think.
Let me think. Okay. Our sources had this little quiz idea. I'll say the more formal, separate word version, and you listening, try saying the natural, contracted, reduced version out loud. Ready? Formal.
Yeah.
I do not want to go there.
How would you say that naturally? Short pause. Probably something like, I don't want to go there.
Right. Okay, next one. Formal. What do you think about this?
And the natural, faster version, short pause. You'd likely hear and say, what did John think about this?
Making a conscious effort to use these common contractions or reductions takes practice, but it pays off huge in making your speech smoother and just sound more fluent, like you're comfortable in the language.
Okay, this next one might feel a bit backwards at first, using filler words and pauses.
I know, right? We're usually taught to aim for perfectly fluent, error-free speech.
But think about real conversations. Does anyone actually speak in flawless, complete sentences without any hesitation ever?
No, definitely not.
Exactly. Native speakers use fillers like, well, you know, I mean, and pauses all the time. And it's not a mistake. It's natural.
And it serves a purpose, doesn't it?
Totally. It makes you sound more relaxed, more natural, less like you're reciting something memorized, and really importantly, it buys you a little thinking time.
Trying too hard to avoid any pause or filler can actually make you sound less natural, maybe even a bit tense. The sources mention common ones like, oh, and yeah, in casual speech, sometimes,
Think about disagreeing with someone. Just blurting out, I don't agree, can sound pretty blunt.
yeah, bit harsh maybe.
But using a filler softens it and makes it more conversational.
Well, I kind of see your point, but it just sounds more natural and polite.
Let's compare. Direct. I think this is wrong.
Now, try adding a filler or two to soften it. Well, I think this might not be quite right. Can you hear the difference? Try using one yourself next time you pause to think. Short pause.
So the takeaway is don't stress about eliminating every single or pause. Learning to use these natural fillers strategically can actually make your English sound smoother, more relaxed.
Absolutely. And finally, this is a really powerful one, mastering sentence stress to control meaning. Same words, totally different message depending on where you put the emphasis.
This one is fascinating. It shows just how much communication happens beyond the words themselves. It's crucial for understanding nuance and for making sure you're understood clearly. Let's use that great example from the sources. I didn't say she stole the money.
Okay, same sentence every time. But listen to the meaning change. First, stress on didn't.
I didn't say she stole the money, meaning maybe someone else said it, maybe I think it, but I'm denying saying it.
Okay, now stress on say.
I didn't say she stole the money, meaning I didn't say it outright. Maybe I hinted it, wrote it, implied it, but the act of saying it didn't happen.
And stress on she.
I didn't say she stole the money, meaning I might have said someone stole it, but I'm denying accusing her specifically. It points suspicion elsewhere.
Isn't that amazing? Same exact words, but shifting the stress completely changes the implication. It's like a hidden layer of meaning controlled by your voice.
It really highlights why listening for stress is key and why controlling your stress helps you communicate precisely. Let's do one more. She didn't call him.
Okay, stress on she.
She didn't call him, meaning
Great.
someone else called, not her.
Stress on didn't.
She didn't call him, meaning the call never happened, flat denial.
And stress on call.
She didn't call him,
Yeah.
meaning she connected with him some other way, maybe text, email, carrier pigeon, but not via phone call.
Understanding this and practicing putting the stress where you intend it, it just gives you so much more control and makes you sound way more confident and clear.
Wow, okay. We have covered a lot of ground there. It's really clear that sounding natural goes so much deeper than just knowing words and grammar rules.
It really does. So to quickly recap for understanding, train your ears for those connections and reductions. Focus on the stressed words, not every single sound, and definitely give shadowing a serious try. It really helps tune your ear.
And for sounding more natural yourself, pay attention to the rhythm and intonation, the music of English. Don't be afraid to use contractions and reductions. They're normal. Use fillers and pauses naturally to sound relaxed and buy thinking time. And learn to wield sentence stress to make your meaning precise.
And the consistent theme here is practice, practice, practice. It's not magic, it's building skills. The more you consciously listen for this stuff and try using it, the more automatic and natural it becomes.
So let's give you something concrete to work on this week. A challenge based on everything we've talked about.
Okay, first step. Find a short audio clip, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, of real people talking English naturally. A show, an interview, whatever works for you.
Listen to it once or twice. First time, just understand the main point. Second time, really focus your listening. Where do words link? What gets reduced? Which words pop out with stress? What's the overall rhythm like?
Okay, once you've done that listening, you've got 2 options for your practice this week. Choose one. Option 1 is all about listening. Try shadowing that clip. Play it, speak along right after the speaker, and really focus on mimicking their sound, their speed, their rhythm, those connections and reductions you noticed. If it feels too fast, maybe see if your player can slow it down just a tiny bit to start.
Option 2 is focused on your speaking. Pick just one technique from that second section we discussed. Maybe working on rhythm, or consciously using gonna and wanna, or adding a natural well, or, and you pause. Or maybe practicing one sentence with different stress patterns. Then record yourself talking for a minute or two, describe your day, react to the clip, anything, but focus only on implementing that one chosen technique.
And maybe, if you're feeling brave, listen back to your recording. If you shadowed, how close did you get? If you practice a speaking technique, did you actually do it? Did it sound natural?
Yeah, give one of those a try this week. Notice what feels easy, what feels hard. Did any specific phrases jump out at you when listening? Which technique felt the most awkward or maybe surprisingly helpful when you tried to speak?
So we've really dug into the mechanics of sounds, words, rhythm, individual sentences. But stepping back, think about a real conversation. You might have practiced all this, but then you're talking to someone and you just freeze up for a second.
Ah, yeah, that moment. What do I say next? How do I keep it going?
Exactly. Even native speakers have those moments, needing to bridge a gap or keep the flow going smoothly without just awkward silence.
Right.
So the provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. Now that you have tools for understanding and producing natural-sounding bits of English, how do you weave that into the bigger picture? How do you manage the actual flow of a conversation, navigate those pauses, and sound genuinely engaged, not just technically correct?
That's definitely the next level, isn't it? Moving from sentences to real dialogue.
It is.
Yeah.
But the foundation for all of that is right here in mastering these core elements of sound, rhythm, and connection that we talked about today. So keep practicing these.
Absolutely. Don't get discouraged. Every little bit of practice, listening deliberately and trying these things out loud helps.
We really hope this deep dive has shed some light on the secrets of natural spoken English and given you some practical strategies you can start using right away.
Keep training your ears, keep experimenting with your voice, and keep making progress on your English journey.
You've got this. Keep going strong.